Hey roomies, it's IntuitiveMara over here on YouTube. So I am going to show you a quick demonstration as far as contouring for the ladies out there that are into makeup or gents. Anyway, I'm going to show you first the products that I'm using today. You don't have to use these specific brands. I just find that they work well for me and they're budget friendly while still getting the job done that I want. So what I'm going to show you first is the first layer, what I refer to as your basic foundation. This is what normally all the ladies put on before they pretty much jet out the door. So what I'm using is the Clean Makeup Oil Control Classic Beige, number 530, that's my color. It's CoverGirl. So I tend to have oily skin and a little bit sensitive, so I tend to get this. I actually used to use Clinique, which is a good brand, don't get me wrong, a little on the pricey side, but a good brand. However, I found that the foundation that I would use from that company in the summertime, it wouldn't stay on very well. Since I tend to have more of an oily skin, it would just come right off in the summertime, so I'd have to reapply on my entire face. And you know, that's very inconvenient, you know, if you're on the go in the summertime. So I ended up downgrading back to the CoverGirl, and honestly, I've never went back. Other than saving some money, even though that's not necessarily the most important, it honestly has been better for my skin, and I don't have to mess with it. Once I put it on, I'm good for the day. Okay, and it's not cakey at all either, so that's definitely another plus with CoverGirl that I'm using currently. I will be trying other brands, of course, but this is what I'm using right now. So that is the first layer. Okay, that's what you need to have on first before doing any contouring. You need your basic foundation. If you do not put on your basic foundation first, then what happens is if you go right straight into contouring your makeup, what happens is your skin's going to be drier because you didn't have that initial base layer, and I find that when you try to blend in, you know, the rest of the makeup you put on for your contouring, that it doesn't blend as very well and it looks a little choppy. So that's why you need to have your base foundation on first, okay? So I've definitely learned that along the way. The next thing that I will be using will be, it's called Sassy+Chic Makeup Foundation. I'll show you this one. Now this one I actually got on the fly at the dollar store, so like your Family Dollar, Dollar General, one of those, you know, they have the cheap ones. Honestly, I was just getting this to hold me over in between pay periods. And I found that even though it was my color, I found that it was kind of light for me. Lighter than I anticipated, but it's okay. It doesn't have to go to waste. You can actually still use it, even if you have some that are lighter. You can use it as an illuminator or highlighter. So I'm actually going to use this in the video as a highlighting tool, and it does work. It does help. Now granted, it's going to be lighter, and it might look like it blends in a little more at first when I put it on my face because it's so light, but it does the job. So that way you're not wasting it. You can even use this as a primer when applying eyeshadow. Okay, so this is great for a primer too. If you have that leftover makeup, a little too dark or a little too light, use it. Don't leave it. Okay, then the next color I'm going to apply to do the actual contouring, you know, the darker shade, is going to actually be my liquid foundation from BH Cosmetics, the Complexion Collection. Okay, this was a really good deal. I think it was only like, I got it on sale for like $3-4. Retailed at $8 on their site. It's BH Cosmetics, one of the BH Cosmetics I like, and it has a little pump. Now this one I'm using as the contour because I ordered what I thought was my correct color, but the collection runs slightly darker, so just know that if you get this. So instead of wasting it, you know, I can use it for contouring. It works. So, and it's great for blending after you have your base layer on, okay? So those are the three main liquid foundations that I'm going to utilize to do the contouring, okay? After I do that, what I'll be doing is, I know you shouldn't really do this because they say when you contour, it's either all creams or all powders. You're not supposed to mix either one, so you're gonna have to play with that. Now, the only reason why I'm showing that I'm gonna use a little bit of powder after doing all the creams is because this is another Illuminator. Even though technically I don't need to, I actually like to use this one. This is actually something I got from somebody, BareMinerals, the Ready Luminizer. The color is called 5-Star Treatment. I got it as a gift, okay? So basically I use this basically to just brush up a little highlight, just to make it stand out with a little oomph. So you don't have to do that. I just like to do that. It works for me. So that's just something extra I do. And then obviously I'll do a powder on top. And rule of thumb, when you're applying your powder, don't use these. I mean, you can if that's what you're accustomed to, but they say not to use these. You're better off using a brush. Use a brush, tap it, and then, you know, go like that. You know, blend it in or whatever. That's the best way to apply it, and that way you're not using as much product as well, which works. I use brushes in this video, FYI. I've moved up to brushes. Okay, and they do help if you get sick and tired of having dirty hands all the time when you're doing the makeup. That's primarily why I switched over. Honestly, it's made a big difference in my makeup regimen. So let's get started. And yes, I'll lower the music a little bit. I apologize, I love my music. So let me lower it a little bit for you guys. Okay, first step. Okay, first step is applying the base foundation. Now, I did put a little bit already earlier, but I'll put a little bit on now just to show you. Now, I'm using this type of a brush. I apologize if I don't relay the correct terms of what kind of brush it is, but I use one of these brushes that's good for applying the makeup without overdoing it. So what I usually do is I'll actually just, you know, dab it throughout my face, because that way I can blend it all once it's on my face, of course. But I like this because it's easy to apply. You're not dirtying your hands, which is a plus for me because I get annoyed with it after a while. And also, point blank, it makes it so much easier. For me, it's easier. It's less hassle. So if you see a green thing, it's my mirror. So I'm just trying to do this quickly for you just to get on to the next level, or next step, as it were. Okay. It is okay, yes, when you apply your base, to do under your eyes. You want to do that so that way you can get rid of dark circles or what have you. So now I'm taking what I will call my stipple brush. It's the one that's a flat head. Hopefully you see that, flat head. Okay, and I tend to use this for my blending. I find that this is the best thing for blending. Now, I know some of you ladies or anyone out there has a tendency to use those sponges that are popular, that you can get anywhere between $1 and $6 depending where you shop. eBay or Amazon are typically the best places to go for that, or some of the international websites. Just keep in mind, international websites have a tendency to take 2 weeks to get the items shipped and sent over to your residence. So just be mindful of that. But you can find amazing deals. I got these brushes with shipping and the deal on everything for literally under $18, and I bought a 36 piece. You will not find that anywhere else. I got this literally at dressgal.com. They're definitely great. You know, they do take 2 weeks to get, but remember, they're from overseas, so you have to expect that. So I'm just putting a little bit under here because I do have a little bit of dark spots here from acne scars, because, you know, everyone gets acne in their life at some point, some more than others. So yeah, I want to make sure I cover all that. So that is the base coat. Okay, I just had a little spot. I wanted to spot check real quick. Okay, so that is the base coat, the base foundation, I will call it. Second layer, I'm going to do the Luminizer or Illuminator, and I will also put on my face after this the BH Cosmetics foundation that I'm using as the contour, because that color was a little darker. So that way the stuff doesn't go to waste. And it works. So I'm going to use the dollar store one, this one. Okay, you can use any brand. I just happen to have this one, and it works. You know, that's what I have right now. Of course, I'll try some brands too, and I'll let you know. I'll post videos of, you know, reviews and whatnot. So I'm going to, what I'm doing is, let me show you. Sorry, bad habit of doing it right away. Basically, with Illuminator, excuse me, is you want to go down a line straight onto the nose. The reason why is you're basically emphasizing your nose bone structure, you know, and which you'll do in the other places on your face as well. It's to highlight, to show off the certain points of your face. Now I'm doing them an upside down triangle as well. Hopefully you can see it. I apologize if it's too light. Told you this was light. You can put a little more, that's fine. I'm doing like an upside down triangle. I'll do it darker just so you can see it. Okay, and then you fill it in. Upside down triangle on your forehead, fill it in. That's to highlight the front of your face. Okay, down, like I said, straight down on the nose, right? And then the other place to highlight is under the eyes. You know how you see, if you've been doing research on contouring, which I did a lot of research before getting into it to get accustomed to what I'm getting into, they tend to do the clown face. Well, obviously this is going to be simpler than that, but this is where you can remember clown face, is under your eyes. We're going to highlight under here, and it'll also help to cover any dark circles. So those would be the, you know, like the upside down triangle clown eyes. So it might look like it's blending now because it's, you know, it's a cheaper brand, but that'll help with that. Then you want to do a little dot here, right here above your lip. Okay, because that'll bring it in, the highlight. And then you want to do like a little dab on your chin. Okay, now another trick that I learned, now I don't need to do this, but if you are someone who has thinner lips and wants to give the illusion of a fuller lip, you can actually use an illuminator or highlighter. In this case I'm using this type. You can actually do it a little bit above your lip, a little bit above your lip, because what happens is you're highlighting that. So when you're highlighting, it's gonna give the illusion of it being bigger, right? As far as the lips are concerned, it'll give the illusion of a fuller lip if your lip is a little bit thinner than what you would like. After you do your makeup and everything and you do your lipstick, you can actually put a dab right here on your lip like this, and just work it in your lip, you know, after you had your lipstick on, preferably, and you go like that to dab it, and it'll give the illusion, because you're highlighting that spot, right? It'll give the illusion of a fuller lip. It'll make your lips stand out more. So if you're someone who has thin lips or thinner lips, that's a trick that you can do to help. So I'm just closing this right now. So there's that. I'm not going to blend it quite yet. It looks like it's blending itself because it's already, you know, getting accustomed to my skin. With the same tool that or brush I was using for that, I'm going to begin the BH foundation. The color in this video is, let me tell you. I apologize for taking a minute. It was here. I believe it's light. It's like the second color in the swatches. Let's see here. It's LightRose. There it is. L3 LightRose. It's the second color in the swatches on their website. That's like the next lightest. Well, it's like not as light. It's like the second to lightest. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna put on now. I'm gonna put my mirror down. I'm gonna put a little bit of the pump. It's not even a full pump. I do like, if that, a half of a pump. You know, like a little dot. What I'll do is, I'll start with the nose first. It doesn't really matter where you start, but I'm going to, this is the contouring part, the contour part, is the nose, because what you're doing is it's kind of like in a way like a shadow. I know that's probably not the correct way to term it, but it's almost like a shadow because you're giving the illusion that your nose is thinner, you know, or slimmer by using the darker contour color. So, you know, you want it as close as you want for you, whatever you prefer, to your nose, like closest to the middle, while keeping the highlight there. And then you have your darker contour. And then what you do is you're supposed to put it on the sides like that, right? And then you're supposed to put it right up, right to the eye, right, like right here in the middle point. You can definitely do that, okay? You definitely want to do that. And then just to finish off the nose, what I do is, you know how they say you can loop it around like this? You can actually do that. Just fill in the rest with that darker color, okay? And if you feel like you need a little bit more of the contour, that is fine. Just get a little bit more. Not too much because it's the nose, remember. But just enough. Okay? So just to give you an idea. I'm still not blending it, by the way. But I'm just putting it on my face right now. Then we'll blend after everything's on. Okay, so I'm going to use the same contour, you know, light rose color on, because I'm fair skinned. So what I'm going to do, which I'll move my hair so I don't get makeup on my hair, is on the cheek side here, like by your cheekbone structure, you're going to do, I call it like a swoop. You can call it whatever you want, but this is the actual contour part, okay? People tend to do it straight, which is fine, like, you know, like at an angle like this, just to show the brush how it would look. This is the angle that you would put it on your face. So I do that, but I tend to do a little bit of a swoop, you know, to emphasize the cheek. You can do that if you want. That's kind of up to you, but that's how I tend to do it. So I put like a couple good layers on there because I'll blend it just so it's dark enough, but that'll blend it. So I'll do the same on the other side, a good amount. Not too much, but a good amount. And then you're going to want to do it along the side. I would say like right around your brow point on the side of your face. You want to go down like this, like one line, you know, of that darker contour color. And then you want to do it on the other side. So hopefully you'll see it clearly. Okay, it's one line like that. Okay. Now, what some people do is they'll do another line at the bottom here, you know, and right under the chin, which is advisable to do that, yes. I tend to not do it so much just because I'm so fair that I don't want it too terribly dark, you know, right before my neck, you know, because you'll notice. So you can do that. They do say to do that, but I decide not to because I blend well anyway, that I really don't need to add more makeup on here. I really don't. But if it works for you, that's the way they advise it. Then the other way, and it depends on your shape of your face, doing the contour, is also to continue around the face up top, that line with the contour, to go around. Now there's different variations on using that dark contour color depending on the shape of your face, you know, so you can actually look that on Google, just Google it. But this, you know, is, you know, basically the majority vote, I guess you could say. I tend to have a rounder face, so for me it would be all about the shading or contour going downward, like all of this. Some people it's not as much, some people it's more. With me it's a little bit more. So now is the fun part, actually blending. So let me start, we'll start the nose section, and I'm just going to go in a circular motion with my stipple brush, and I'm blending it, okay? I'm literally blending everything essentially together. You want to make sure it's blended well so you don't have any streaks, so it's not even noticeable. Literally, it will not even be noticeable at all. Okay? As long as you blended it well, you're good. So you can't tell, hopefully you can't even tell as far as, you know, the shading, as it were. Okay? I'll try to lower this a little bit, just the lighting, just so you can see it a little better. Yes, I'll improve the lighting in a minute. So now I'm gonna actually blend out that contour that I just did around my face. I'm gonna blend it in, just so that there's no streakiness and it looks more natural. So I'm blending it in. And then I'm gonna continue blending it. That line that I did, blend it in, blend it downward. And then the cheek part, do it in a circular motion, I tend to do it away from my face. They say to do it towards your face, but I'm a lefty, and comfort-wise, it just feels right for me to do it going backwards versus going this way, for going round and round. So I blend it in. You can't even tell what I did as far as, you know, that I used another color. Like, it's not so obvious, you know. It's just enough to get the effect you want for a slimmer, you know, facial feature, you know, if you're worried about that, if you're self-conscious. And, you know, it's just enough without it being overly much. Some people contour a little bit too dark. So now I'm going to do this side, circular motion, which I'm actually going to do the other way, the way moving forward instead of backwards, because I'm using my right hand. It doesn't really matter which way. But yeah, I'm basically blending it. Blend, 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 blend. That's the secret, is blending. You can put all this stuff on your face all you want, but if you don't blend correctly, it's not going to give you the effect you want. The airbrush effect that looked effortless. So the better you blend, the less noticeable it is what you did. Okay, so don't forget to blend out that line on the other side of your face. You don't want to have half blended and half a face not blended. So, okay, so definitely you want to do that. And don't forget to blend out the highlight with the illuminator that you did up here and on your chin. Don't forget to do that. Just blend it out. It's all about the blending. Blend, 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 blend. And if you're someone like me who has a nose piercing, it may look dirty right now because literally you're like painting your face right now. Wait till you do, you know, your foundation stuff. Then you can go back in and get a Q-tip. Q-tips are your best friend, with a dab of water, and then you can just clean your nose piercing. So I have, like, you know, like a gem or stud. So I'll do that like at the end. So make sure you blend well, okay? So that's the contouring part. So I'm not sure if you can, hopefully you can see in the camera. I try to lower the lighting so it'd be helpful for you, that it looks a little bit more cleaner and not so you know, not so bleh. And you know, hopefully the face has the illusion of looking a little bit thinner. Not that that really matters, but some people, you know, prefer that to give that illusion. Why not, right? So that's that for the actual contouring with the cream foundations. Okay, so it depends on your skin type, because some skin types prefer to use powder versus cream as far as foundation. That is okay. You can use powder. Just for my skin type, oily skin, creams work better for me and they stay on longer. So that is why I use creams for the actual foundation. Now, remember how I told you I was doing that extra step, illuminator step? I just find it enhances it more since I use a cheaper brand. What I do is, what I'm going to use is one of my blush brushes, but it has an angle to it. I like using this angled one for this specifically, because it's exactly what I need to just re-highlight a little bit, you know, the certain spots like the nose specifically. So I'll just get from my BareMinerals Illuminator, the 5-star treatment it's called. I like it. It does feel like a 5-star treatment, I'm not gonna lie. So you get it, and if this is what you decide to do, the extra step, you may. I actually go down the nose like this. so that it highlights a little more. You see that it's emphasizing that highlight even more. Now, some ladies may not prefer to do this extra step just because you want to be lighter, like the Illuminator, but maybe you don't want it so shiny. Okay, well, this kind of shininess I actually like, and I'm not even big on shiny, but I actually like this. It works really well for me. So if you decide you want to do that, you may. You don't have to. I just find that it emphasizes the contour of the nose and everything more. So I just use a little bit, and it works. That's it for that, okay? So then, the next item. Okay, what I'm going to do next is the actual powder, or pressed powder, just, you know, to hold everything, you know, together, you know, nice and dry, matte finish, basically. So I'm using the CoverGirl Clean Collection Classic Beige 130. That's what I use. You can use any other powder, whatever powder suits your needs. Some people use a loose powder, or, you know, these that are in like this. Up to you, whatever works better for you is rule of thumb. But you can always try these products should you decide you want to. That's fine either way. The important thing here in the video is getting the steps down and practice. I was very overwhelmed at first, but and I did a lot of research on contouring because there's so many ways you can go with it. However, once you practice and you start working, seeing what works for you and what doesn't work, it ends up being easy after doing it enough times. It'll become second nature eventually for you. So don't get too overwhelmed. So the powder, what I did was I got a, you know, a round brush, you know, pretty full brush. Actually, I think I used the wrong one by accident, but that's okay. It's just for the video. I like these nice full brushes. Actually, I have a bigger one I would have used, but I forgot. That's okay. So what I did was I tapped, you know, or swirled a few times my powder, pressed powder, and then to put it on, preferably the correct way would be to just swerve it around. You can brush it, but swerve it around, like if you're airbrushing, essentially. And this is to help give you more of a matte finish. So it's just to bring everything together, really. You know, put as much as you need. Just don't get overly Snow White crazy, okay? We've all been guilty at some point doing that. So yeah, preferably swirl it around or brush it around. I even brush, you know, my eyelids too, actually, because it gives me a clean slate. So regardless if I do eyeshadow or not, you know, I have a clean base to go off of, so that's totally fine. Okay, so just make sure you get the bottom a little bit if you can. I have to fix this part just a little wee bit because I didn't blend quite as nicely as I could have under my eye, but that's okay. That's an easy fix. Okay, so that's really easy. It's lighter, and that way you're not using as much of your products. So I found that even though it seems like you're using a lot of steps or a lot of products, you know, like to emphasize what you're trying to do with the contouring, I've noticed you end up using less product in a sense because you don't really need as much product to use per step. So even though it's a lot of stuff, you're actually using less of each thing. So I find that is helpful. So let me move this. So that's that. That is the face contour. Okay, so I'm going to actually do another video that is going to emphasize everything extra I do after the contouring. Okay, so I'm going to lighten this up. Hopefully it'll show you the finished product a little bit better. I apologize if I did it too bright. But hopefully you can see how my nose seems to be emphasized a little bit better with the contouring. So I apologize if it's a little orangey because of my lighting. You know, I'm in my office. But yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to tell a little bit better. So you'll notice more in the mirror, but yeah, hopefully you can see when I move my face, you see just enough of that shadow, like to give that effect. Okay, so I will make another video to show all the fun stuff we do after Yeah, no, the main event over here, okay? So let me know, what are your thoughts regarding contouring? Do you guys do it maybe slightly differently because you have a different shaped face? So you do that shading a little bit differently. That is fine. Post your comments. What are some products maybe you guys like? You can mention what products worked for you. If you're someone who has rosacea or whatever, maybe you need a different type of product. You know, that maybe you guys want to give each other ideas. That's fine. So let me know what you guys think. Like this video if it was helpful for you, and let me know your comments below, okay? So I will make the next video momentarily. Bye guys. IntuitiveMara out.